I've been on welfare for the past 10 years. I look for jobs as much as I can, but when the nearest 9 to 5 is a 2-hour bus ride away and wants a college degree just to consider you, it's hard. The odds are against me, but a guy's got to have something to do, right? My thing is movies, not the mainstream stuff. My internet connection's shit because the local provider has a monopoly, so I can't stream. I have to rent physical copies from a shop. And the worst part is I can barely afford it. I pay rent for my shitty studio and for my food, and then I've got about $100 to get me through the month without losing my mind. So I rent movies, and not the top-shelf horror or thrillers. No, that's too rich for my blood. I go for the bottom shelf, $1-a-day rentals from fly-by-night operations. Half the time you can tell they're shot on a handycam and edited with free software. Their content sucks. Sometimes it doesn't even give me chills. But I can't stop going back. Last month I got into real trouble because I didn't have that single dollar in my pocket to rent one of those crap DVDs. Tried to talk to the clerk, asked him to cut me a break since I'm a regular. But he wasn't having any of it. This hipster. He kept saying no matter what I said, until I finally reached into my pocket, grabbed whatever was in there and slammed it on the counter. I didn't even know what it was. "There," I said. "What'll that get me?" It was a quarter and a dime. 35 goddamn cents, all I had to my name. At first I thought he'd laugh and throw me out, but he just pointed down to the very bottom of a rack with the most unpopular titles. There was one DVD down there for only 30 cents a night. You know how they say you get what you pay for? Well, it's true. The case. They must have misaligned the printer sheets because everything was crooked. A couple of typos on the back, and the title was the most generic thing I'd ever seen. If you guessed something like Apparition in the Old Mill, you'd be close. The cover photo was of this dark-skinned girl with one really nasty snaggletooth looking at the camera. Usually, horror covers have a hint of tension, you know. The subject will look terrified or there's an ominous symbol, but this one, nothing was going on. At all. She was there, but she wasn't. I can't explain it any other way. I took the DVD and told the clerk to keep the change. It's a long walk home. It always is, but I kinda like it. Builds up the anticipation. So by the time I got home, I was in the mood. I popped in the DVD, opened a bag of chips, and started watching. The movie had no menu. It just started. Shot POV style, so it's just this room of some kind. The girl from the cover walks through a door with a frosted glass panel, moves in a jerky way, and crawls toward the camera. No plot, no bullshit. Great, right? Maybe not. To be honest, the atmosphere was weak, but I'll give her this. Most wouldn't commit to looking so genuinely terrified they might puke. I never got chills, but I finished my chips and kept watching anyway. Nothing better to do. But I started to notice something really off. She kept looking off screen. In professional stuff, editing takes care of that. But even for an amateur flick, she did it a lot. And not at the guy filming either. She kept looking above and to the right of him. And every time she did, she'd wince and get back to it like she had something to prove. Like there was something there that scared her badly. And then I realized something else. The room. I knew where it was. I worked in that building for 3 years. The trucking company I used to work for leased it. That was 10 years ago, and I heard they shut down after they let me go. But I still remembered where it was, so I figured, hell, why not check it out? I'd never been on a set before, and I'd get a kick out of seeing my old office used as a location. It's a ways to that part of the city. A long ways. Probably 8-9 miles, and I don't have a car or a bike, so I had to walk. But hey, it's like an adventure, right? I grabbed my flashlight and went. Bugs were everywhere, and it was probably 80 degrees with high humidity even though it was evening. Eventually, I got to the building and I got pissed off right away. The damn thing was boarded up. Probably had been for years. Plants were growing over it, half the windows were busted, the others were boarded. I cursed and threw a rock at the front door, and wouldn't you know it, the damn thing creaked open, so I went inside. It was dark, so I turned on my flashlight, and I'm glad I did. The floor was littered with trash. The place stank, but I figured, hey, I've come this far, so I kept going. Someone must have leased it after my company left. The layout had changed. They'd even partitioned the lobby into more cubicles. There were a lot of corners. A lot of places where anything could be hiding. A bum with a knife, a tweaker, anything. But screw it, right? I wasn't turning back. I made my way through what was once the lobby. Since I was the only person there and the whole building is just concrete block, my footsteps echoed a lot. At least I hoped they were echoes. I got to the hallway that led to my old office, and that was the worst part. My flashlight isn't that bright, and the hallway is long, so you can't see the end in the dark. I admit I got spooked. I walked as quietly as I could. My flashlight was a beacon, but going down that hallway in pitch blackness, I don't know if I could have done it. Eventually, I got to my office. The number above the door must have faded years ago, but I recognized it. 5th on the right, and the only one with the glass panel over the door. They put that in after some bitch from HR almost caught me doing something personal during my lunch break. My own damn lunch break. I opened the door and found nothing. Not even dust. That's what tipped me off. The whole room smelled like chemicals. Bleach. When I looked closely at the floor trim, I could see the bottom edges were discolored, eaten away. Like the whole damn floor had been doused. I ran the beam along where the floor met the wall, and that's when I saw it. That ugly yellow snaggletooth right there on the edge. I picked it up. The stain on it was dark, like it hadn't been exposed for long. I walked out holding it, but the bleach smell was strong. And when I looked down the hall, I didn't see any dust or trash there either. I put the tooth in my pocket and kept going. That clean trail led all the way down the hall, right up to a door I damn well kicked in. It continued down some old wooden stairs and then just stopped. The smell of bleach ended, but it didn't matter. There was a clear trail through the dirt and gravel out toward the woods, then a gap in the bushes, then a creek, and then... Well, and then is the reason I don't watch those movies anymore. Or go back to that rental shop. It's 8 or 9 miles to that building, and I don't have a car or a bike, but I kinda like the walk. It builds up the anticipation, you know, gets the blood flowing.